Just finished up the August turn in Case Blue in blocks in the east, and as you can see, the Soviets still have not gotten much of a line established here heading into the Caucasus. You still got this big open space here. Granted, there's nothing really there to defend, but it's certainly going to be easy for the Germans to move. Try and move around and get a wider flank moving in towards the Caucasus region here to the south. This was the guy who was stranded earlier in Novorossiysk and managed to scramble along the coast here to get back in supply here off of this communication line out of Batum. And I had this guy move up out of Batum to support him. So they may have a chance. Now my bigger concern for the Soviets, having extricated this guy here, is that this town here, what is it, Zugdidi, and Batum here could be potentially cut off. The Soviet or the Germans could end up just going right around that, perhaps, and cutting off the supply line here. So, Batum currently supplying these two guys may end up actually trapping them if I can't, especially if I can't build some kind of line along here, which is what I'm working towards at the moment. I built some more units here in whatever that is, Makashkaya, more oil fields. Actually build them down here in Baku and move them up. I moved them down here in Baku and move them up to the oil fields there. Here I've got there's some guard cav, but one of my commanders who had been running out of Stavropol here from the German advance. All of his ground units got killed, and so he kind of fled out of there back to these oil fields. I had guard cav reinforcements come in that I built in Tiflis, and built weak infantry, some mountain infantry units there, which I will hopefully be able to strengthen next turn before the Germans can actually get there. It's going to take the Germans a little while to get through this mountain range here. These mountain hexes cost 3 to move through, and there aren't any German units that have any more than a 4 movement, so it's going to take them a whole turn just to get across those mountains. If they even try, they may just gun straight for Baku down there, because that's one of their victory point locations. So that's just going to be kind of a mad dash now to get around the Caucasus. But I'll have to leave a decent trail of German units along there just to protect my supply line, especially if I have any difficulty getting through to Stalingrad, which is right here. As you can see, I added some more Soviet units there to defend Stalingrad. How successful they'll be, I don't know. This is a pretty strong front of Germans here. I've got one of these panzer units was weakened here on the approach to, along with the infantry unit, was weakened on the approach to Stalingrad there. So I'll probably be rebuilding them in the upcoming turn. I got some infantry, but yeah, more full-strength panzer units preparing to hit Stalingrad, along with some tough 5-step infantry there. So lots of tanks moving in. So there's a sizable force ready to try and hit Stalingrad pretty hard. The one thing I'll have to focus on too with the Germans this turn is, let's see if I can find him here. There he is. Focus on rebuilding my Luftwaffe commanders, because I'm going to need air recon and air support to take out Stalingrad. So one thing I don't know if I have close, oh, I think I do here, is essentially, those are tanks here. Yeah, I've got some full strength artillery there, which will be useful in hitting Stalingrad. So we'll see at this point whether I can do it on this coming turn. I'm pretty hopeful. You know, technically the Germans wouldn't know what's actually there in Stalingrad. It is a tank unit and a full-strength infantry unit, so it's not going to be easy to hit. But I think with air support, I can at least reduce it, and if I don't take it this turn, most likely we'll be able to take it next turn. As long as I can keep the Soviets strapped for cash. The big problem with the Soviets is that I haven't had the RP left to rebuild their air command. So with their air commander down to one unit or one barrel left, if I use that, then it ends up killing him and I have to rebuild him at a higher cost. But if I don't replenish him, I can't use any Soviet air, so that can become a problem. Trying to defend cities from any sort of concerted air and artillery supported ground assault. So up north, the Soviets tried a couple attacks here at weak points. Those Italians there, they tried to hit. They didn't know they were Italians, but they just saw the one block there. Probably would have been better to have gone after the artillery block there, which of course also they didn't know that that's artillery. But is trying to punch where they can at weak links in the German line, possibly put some guys out of supply and make the Germans have to shift. What happened was nothing good. I think I attacked the hex there with the tank in it, oops, and took 1 point off of it and lost about 3 or 4 points, or 3 or 4 steps myself. Same thing there against the Italians. The Italians took 2 steps off of an infantry that attacked them, and didn't lose any steps themselves, so not really very effective little counter punches from the Russians. Otherwise up here they've sort of dressed their line a little bit, fallen back a little bit, so the Germans may actually start pushing forward again towards Moscow. And again, if they can kind of get around, where'd my pointer go here? If they can kind of get around, these guys may be able to push that way and try and take out these hexes here, which will put Voronezh, or whatever that city was here that's providing the supply link to Leningrad. If they can put that out of supply, that could be a big deal. So we'll have to see if I feel like attempting that. I'm getting a little more bold about it, just looking at how thin the connection here is between Moscow and the northern Leningrad corridor there. So there may be a very good opportunity there for the Germans to try and cut off Leningrad, which would be, if they can cut it off, then it becomes truly out of supply and not just in fortress or siege supply, and I have a better chance of actually taking it, which I may need to do as a victory condition if I cannot get Stalingrad or Baku in time. So we'll have to see what sort of opportunity the Germans can take here in the next turn.